Salve amici.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the Mystery Search. Today we'll try to clarify what is happening with the increase of UFO cases around the world, and we will talk about an official notice that the US military and Navy already have given on this topic, surprising us all.
Hanno già dato su questa questione che ci ha sorpreso tutti. Abbiamo detto poco tempo.
In the last months, South America has experienced several waves of UFOs and cases of all kinds. Landings, contacts with extraterrestrials, unusual blackouts in Venezuela, and much more, such as something is taking shape around the topic.
Si stesse muovendo intorno a questo tema e stesse prendendo corpo.
However, just to put even more credibility on this issue, the American Armed Forces have now acknowledged something incredible. They acknowledge that UFO cases are on the increase, and also that unknown aircrafts are dangerously approaching military installations.
Sconosciuti si stanno avvicinando pericolosamente a installazioni militari.
As already said, all this is happening as a consequence of a fact that came out in public light at the end of 2017, when the news leaked that the Pentagon had activated a secret program to study UFOs.
Attivato un programma segreto per studiare gli UFO.
We never had such a thing, something of such scope, something so extremely impactful that no one in the right mind could understand.
Può capire. Ma come mai i grandi mezzi di comunicazione non hanno
But why the big media doesn't show it on the news?
i notiziari? Questo, amici, dovrebbe colpire l'opinione pubblica, ma niente. Come se tutti
This should strike the public opinion, but nothing. As if all the mass media obeyed an order, cold and impassive in front of this news, that should change the whole scientific and political paradigm.
abbiamo solo silenzio.
We have only silence. They are silent in a suspicious, cryptic way. And what do they say about all this?
Cosa dicono intorno a tutto questo? Logicamente devono
Logically, they have to come up with something to distort reality, distort the facts. What they usually do, because the Pentagon has developed a study program called the AATIP, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program.
Space Threat Identification Program.
Several of these official statements were published in the New York Times and also included in the budget that the Pentagon received, specifically $22 million. This project was developed between 2007 and 2012, and according to what they said, it consisted in collecting information on these visiting aircrafts: shape, size, speed, maneuvers, objects that enter the oceans at great speed, violating the international airspace with impunity, even flying at a low altitude over military bases, to then disappear without being able to be monitored or pursued.
A bassa quota importanti basi militari per poi scomparire senza essere scoperti o inseguiti. La domanda che molti si
The question that many have asked themselves is this: where the funds for this Pentagon program came from? Several independent journalists found out that the funds has been raised upon a request of a former Democratic Senator, Harry Reid, and that the money came from his friends. A friend of his former senator, specifically from the magnate Robert Bigelow, owner of the Bigelow Aerospace.
È proprio questo
It is this magnate who has donated the funds for the program, or it is just a signal of something much deeper? Be careful. I read what Chris Mello said, the former Pentagon Defense Secretary,
alla difesa del Pentagono,
quoting what was said by Fox News.
letterali pronunciate dalla Fox News. Proprio ora
Right now, we have a situation where UFOs and other unidentified aerial phenomena are treated as anomalies and are ignored instead of being studied. We have systems in place that exclude and discard this information. For example, military personnel in many cases do not know what to do with this information, such as satellite or radar detecting something moving at Mach 3 or even more. They simply ignore them because it cannot be a traditional aircraft or missile.
Trattare di un aereo o un missile tradizionale. Bene,
Well, with this statement, if you paid attention, this man played naive one, like any candidate in the first presidential campaign in history will do. Okay, once, it's okay twice, but the third time doesn't fool anymore.
dire questa cosa, signor Grismello giustificava così la
What does it
creazione di
mean?
una nuova politica.
Mr. Chris Mello justified the existence of a new policy that the US Navy has already made public. The Navy issued an official report saying, "Gentlemen, we are not saying that there are extraterrestrial ships, but there have been in the recent times some information about unauthorized aircraft movements entering different areas and airspace controlled by the Army."
Controllate dell'esercito e
This is what the Navy official statement says, and what the Navy did officially is to admit that strange objects violate its airspace more and more frequently, and, of course, they establish the creation of a policy where soldiers, pilots, and military personnel must describe the sightings.
hanno stabilito la creazione di una piattaforma dove i soldati, i piloti e il personale militare possono inviare la descrizione dei loro avvistamenti.
Now, they want the whole world that sees strange things in the sky to report to them. I continue to read the statement. He says, "This type of incursion can be a security risk and pose dangers to both the Navy and the Air Force. For safety and security reasons, the Navy and the Air Force must take this information very seriously and investigate all the cases."
E investigano tutti i casi. Poi risulta che
Then it seems that Louis Elizondo, a former Pentagon official, told CNN that he himself ran a UFO research program, from which he resigned, and that the Pentagon knows very well what these aircrafts are, much like saying there are really alien spaceships. Elizondo said that these detected aircrafts showed features that did not match to any known government apparatus, and that the current policy of the armed forces consists in cataloging what has been seen to determine what it was in the long run. He admitted
per determinare a lungo termine
that the number of detected cases was very large and very revealing.
rilevati era molto rivelatore e molto abbondante. Spesso si trattava, dice, di
Often there were, he says, aircraft that defied the laws of aerodynamics. There are still much more beside these press releases, but everything leads to the same conclusion. It seems that we are facing something new. It is certain they will continue to show the news with filters, masks, and tricks.
ed è certo che continuano a negare la verità.
And it is certain they will continue to deny the truth. However, friends, we have pilots that are nervous because they are accumulating sightings of strange, very strange aircraft.
Gli avvistamenti di aeronavi strane, molto strane.
Imagine what all this means for the armed forces. An absolute neurotic situation. The slab of silence sometimes has
Il
cracks.
silenzio presenta a volte delle crepe. La domanda è:
The question is, what is happening?
perché la cupola militare ammette tutto questo?
Why the armed forces admit all this
Impunemente le basi militari, le basi
with
militari,
impunity?
spazi aerei in modo incontrollato?
This phenomenon is something that cannot be stopped by human force, and neither aircraft, nor weapons, nor missiles can affect it.
Dai missili possono influire su di loro.
Therefore, there is the feeling that little by little the tactical powers are admitting things because they no longer have a choice.
Forse ci troviamo.
Perhaps we are faced with something so large that it is about to slip from their own hands. Perhaps until now they could keep it silent, but the time has come when something is happening and is blowing up all their plans. We ask ourselves if perhaps there is an extraterrestrial race that has begun to pressure the governments of our planet. Something like,
Cominciate ad avvertire il mondo della nostra
start
presenza.
to inform the world of our presence, or we will do it ourselves, and perhaps somehow that will not be pleasant to you.
Non sappiamo fino a che punto tutto questo obbedisca.
We do not know to what extent everything is a voluntary decision of the armed forces, or, well, they are somehow pressed. I'm inclined to believe the second possibility. Why? We do not know, but something is moving. Perhaps we already have said in a previous video, the extraterrestrials are preparing something larger and maybe they're ready to make moves.
Sono pronti a fare delle mosse.
Let's see what happens, friends. We're all very alert because lately this is coming out of statements, something that just a few years ago was unimaginable.
Spero che il video vi sia piaciuto e ci vediamo al
Remember to like and share the video and see you at the next one. A big hug to everyone from the Mysteries Served.